Yes, thank you all.
Okay, we're ready. Good afternoon, parents. Thank you for joining us on our Progressing Together meeting. My name is Flor Sanchez Reza. I'm the district parent liaison for the district. We're just going to go through very brief rules for the meeting. First, please have your microphones mute. Mr. Horacio, he'll release the mute button once we start with the comments or the questions. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them on the chat or just wait until the end of the presentation to share your questions or comments. Now we're going to have Dr. Mesa Chavez, superintendent for the district, and she'll be sharing some messages and announcements for the month. Dr. Mesa.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Flora. I'd like to thank you for getting us together one more time with our parents in our Progressing Together parent meetings. And I'd like to thank all the staff who makes this possible on every end. This is our monthly Progressing Together parent meeting, and we're so thankful that you're choosing to invest your time in helping us progress together to help our students. The announcements we have for you is tomorrow, Wednesday, February 10th, we do have our monthly board meeting, and that begins at 5:30 p.m. So please, you're welcome to join us. We also have the El Pasoans Fighting Hunger food distribution, which has been very helpful to our community. We're expected to distribute 600 different boxes tomorrow, February 15th. We also have early release of students on February 17th. So for those of you parents who are sending your students in person to us, please be aware that we do have an early release on Wednesday. We also have parent conferences coming up for GEMS and for San Elizario High School. We have GEMS on February 23rd and San Elizario High School on February 25th. Keep in mind that we have had the entire year an online survey for parents letting us know if you want to send your child in person for face-to-face instruction or to continue online. Once again, our survey will open February 22nd through March 3rd. We encourage you to please let us know if you will be sending your child in person or keeping them at home, because in both ways it helps us prepare. So that'll be coming up shortly. Please remember to send that information. All your input counts. I do want to remind you, and we'll have a topic of more discussion later on the agenda, that our schools are open Monday through Friday. With that being said, we are also very excited because we have San Elizario Early College High School. We have a deadline coming up today of submission of applications. And I know that Dr. Segovia and I had the pleasure of speaking with our 8th grade students last Wednesday. If you have any questions on submission or the application, this is an opportunity for your children, but it's also something that you as parents should take advantage of. We are excited to be able to offer our students this opportunity. It will save you money. The students will attend San Elizario High School while also attending and getting college credit through EPCC. That's our partner, El Paso Community College. So with that being said, I know that we have a fantastic presentation coming up with Ms. Rico, but I'm going to hand it over back to Ms. Flor.
Thank you, Dr. Mesa. Yes, next we're going to have our presentation on Telpass with general information and testing dates. But before we start with the presentation, I just want to let the parents know that we have a Valentine's basket as a giveaway. So please pay attention to the presentation, because at the end of the presentation, Ms. Rico will be asking parents to participate, and that parent that participates will win our Valentine's basket. Next, we have Ms. Sandra Rico. She's the bilingual instructional officer for the district. Ms. Rico.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming in to this general information about our program. So my name is Ms. Rico, and I work for San Elizario Independent School District. I'm the instructional officer. So I'm going to start by telling you all the purpose of our program. We are here to help English learners master the essential knowledge and skills required by the state, but also we're here to support students to be proficient in literacy materials and Texas essential knowledge and skills, also known as our TEKS, in their native language and in English. We're also here and we're committed to preparing the students to be successful in academic subjects at high levels. So what this means is that even though a student may not be English as a first language, often referred to as English learners, we are providing high academic instruction, and we are looking to have them be successful with all of their TEKS in all of the subject areas, okay? So some parents may ask, what subjects will my son or daughter be learning? All of our students in this program are required to receive instruction in the TEKS in English and in their first language as well. This will not prevent them from also taking classes as electives. For example, they will have the opportunity to participate in physical education, music, as part of this balanced curriculum that every student has the opportunity to receive. How will the program help your child? Well, students use the state-adopted subjects in English and in their native language. And this provides all of our students the opportunity to receive instruction in language arts and content areas in both languages based on research of effective strategies. All of our I.S.D teachers are trained with all these effective strategies to support the transition into a second language. And this is all the way from Loya all the way to the high school. Every single teacher is required or is provided with this support in developing strategies for second language learners. Your child will also develop a sense of self-confidence and pride in their cultural heritage. So we make sure that each and every one of our classrooms are providing a safe environment for your child. Whether we have an accent or not, when we're pronouncing their words, when we're transitioning into that second language, we make sure that our teachers are effectively trained to support the needs of your child. We want them to develop that self-confidence as they're speaking a new language. And we also provide opportunities in which the child will develop cultural heritage pride. We support what the child is bringing from home in their first language, and that will help them transition into a second language. Often we hear this question from several parents. We want to move them into English. Will my child be learning English? The answer to that question is yes. Yes, mastery of English, listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills is an expectation, and it's a requirement in the program by the state of Texas. And the child will also acquire academic instruction in the native language, which will transition easier into a second language. So we will support those strategies that the teachers are being trained with in order to move into a second language. Now we're doing our part. San Elizario I.S.D is providing the teachers with that PD that they need, providing them with strategies in supporting a EL student into transitioning into English. What can we do as parents, right? We're a team and we're working together to reach that goal. So as a parent, you can help as well. We know we're living difficult times through this pandemic, and several of our students are learning from home. But what can you do as a parent? We're asking you to encourage your child to achieve success by expressing interest in their work. We need to know what our child is doing at home. Oftentimes, we know we're busy, we're at work, but showing that interest and asking those questions, encouraging our children to continue to work and effectively provide that support at home is going to be key in our child's success. So we ask that you partner up with us and that you help us in this transition. We often know that our child will be taking a START test, right? We've heard that before and we're very aware of that. But they will also take a Telpass exam. English learners will take a Telpass exam. And this exam is also required by the state and equally important to STAR. So what is Telpass? Telpass is an assessment program for English learners, and it assesses their proficiency levels in English. We want to know how much English they've been learning at school. Kinder through 12th grade students are assessed in 4 different domains. We want to assess their listening, their speaking, their reading, and their writing skills. Telpass assesses English learners' proficiency standards. So the district is required to implement something called ALPS. All of our teachers implement this in the daily routines and classroom instruction. And this helps our second language acquisition curriculum standards that support the ability for learning academic English. Again, Telpass is a state mandated assessment and is equally as important as the START test. We want to know who takes the test and how it is scored. Students from kinder through 12th grade are assessed in Telpass if they are coded English language learners. So there's a variation here on the assessment because of the age group. So kinder and first grade students whom English is not their first language are assessed by the teacher through a holistic observation. And this is in listening, speaking, reading, and writing, 4 different domains. Now, our older students, 2nd grade to 12th grade students, whom English is not their first language, are assessed by the teacher in writing. And then a computer assessment is given to them for listening, speaking, and reading. And we do have that the important dates that you might want to jot down or take a picture of are here on the screen, because this is a window in which the students are able to take the Telpass assessment. And even though the dates might vary a little from campus to campus, depending on the arrangements that the administrator has made for that specific campus, the windows are up on the screen. For the writing assessment, we have started that yesterday, February the 8th to April the 2nd. For listening and speaking, the window's February the 22nd to April the 2nd. And then our reading window for K through 12 is February the 22nd, through April the 2nd, and then for 2nd grade to 12th grade to April the 9th. So dates are up on the screen here. But it's just important to jot the dates down, because you might hear that some of our students might have already started their writing prompts. You might hear that the teachers have assigned them this already. And so you're aware that this is a state mandated, very important test assessing their English domains. So we want to make sure that our students are going to bed early, that our students don't have distractions around the room, that we are supporting them as they are taking this writing portion of the state assessment that started yesterday. With that said, that is the end of the presentation. So if we have any questions, we can answer those at this time.
Do we have any parents that have a question regarding the presentation? More than welcome. Put on the chat if you don't.
Mics are open now.
Do we have any parents with a question regarding the Topaz testing information?
So Ms. Flor, I don't see any questions on the chat, but I can address 2 questions that we had this morning and that are very important. So one of the questions that I jot down this morning were, how do we rate the assessment? And how do we go about if they are passing one section of the assessment and not another? So we do test in 4 different areas, right? The listening, speaking, writing, and reading. And that assessment or that rating is graded are different levels, the beginning, the intermediate, advanced, and advanced high. So that was one question that arose this morning. And the other question that I wanted to ask the parents, and this is where you guys come in for participation. We know that you're already doing excellent and great strategies at home. So we would like to hear a little bit from you if you're willing to share what is working for you at home. What is it that you're doing with your child that is helping for us to transition into that second language? We do have a prize for anybody who's willing to share their ideas with the rest of the parents.
Ms. Davis, would you like to share something, Ms. Perez?
I'm sorry, I had to leave for a minute. What was the question? What are some of the strategies that you already have in place at home that maybe you're using with your own child that you would be willing to share with the rest of the parents here? What's working for you?
Well, what's working for me, to be honest, is the fact that my girls are at home and I can monitor a lot closely. I can actually sit next to them and listen to the teacher. You were saying that they just started the writing yesterday, and they did. I heard in some of the classes, they were letting them know that they had to write an essay for the Telpass. And at first I kind of questioned it because I wasn't sure what was going on and if it was part of the regular routine. But now I'm listening to your presentation. Now I understand. I mean, I wasn't really familiar with that. So now I can explain it even more to my girls because they also wondered why they were taking it, and I was like, well, I'm going to research it. I'm going to find out what's going on. But it was an essay. It was an essay they had to write. It was a specific question and they had to write about it. And, they asked me questions and I kind of helped them and guided them in what they could write and how long it could be. So it does help that I am here to help them do that, plus the teacher, and they could ask questions on the questions part of their class.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Perez, for sharing. We're very glad that you're able to monitor since you have them at home. But remember, it is a state assessment, so we want to see what state their knowledge, right? I also see that Manuela David in the chat put that it helps to watch TV in English. So that's true. Music and TV shows in English will help your child acquire that second language.
Any other question from our parents or comments regarding the Telpass presentation or any questions regarding the testing?
You said that the Telpass was almost sort of like the other assessment that they usually take, but what's the difference? What separates them?
So our STAR test, I think is what you're referring to?
Yes, the STAR test.
That's an academic assessment that our third graders on uptake. The Telpass is for English learners, and that's for kinder all the way to 12th grade.
And the listening part that you said that it's important that they also need to score. The listening part is because of what they learn in class as skills, or?
So it does, their listening portion is part of, it's together for the little ones with the listening and speaking. So we'll tell them, the assessment is kind of telling them what to do on the picture. Are they listening? Are they understanding the English portion? And then it asks them also to speak into a microphone. It is a recorded session that they will be doing physically at the campus.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
If I might add to your first question, ma'am, about what distinguishes STAR and Telpass.
Yes.
The STAR test measures our academic standards, which are the TEKS, the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, and the Telpass measures the English language proficiency standards. So the TEKS are measured through STAR, and the ELPs are measured through Telpass.
Oh, okay. And you said that's the listening part is more for the little ones, right? Or is it just in K
It's
through
everybody,
12?
K through 12.
Okay. Thank you.
And Ms. Perez, I'll add from this morning's session, one of the comments I made to our parents this morning at 9 was that when I was a little girl, my mom would always, like, you know, whether she needed the help or not, she would always ask us, well, how do you say this in English? And I, you know, knowing the person she was always asking us to practice. You know, she would even have us practice writing when she needed help with a check. Like, you know, she knew how to do it, but she would have us kind of practice ourselves. So anything that you can do with the writing or the speaking, it just helps our children. Those are just some ways that I'll share with you, you know, with the language of Spanish being my first language, like many of ours here with you today. And those are just ways that you as a parent can help, is just encouraging the conversation in English with your child or children.
Yes, I mean, mine, to be honest, speak English, period. Actually, what they're learning is the Spanish, which I know is the opposite of the usual. But you're right. I mean, they do ask on how to correctly write something, and because it is different. So yes, I do try to encourage that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions from parents? No? Okay, next on our agenda, we have Dr. Segovia, Assistant Superintendent, and he's gonna give us information on the full week of campus instructions for our students.
Thank you, Flor, and thank you, Ms. Rico, for a very informative presentation. What I wanted to do is remind all parents that our schools are open for those parents that elect to send their kids to on-campus instruction. The schools are open from Monday to Friday. You can send them the entire week. All you gotta do is call. If you're right now virtual and you want to switch to full week face-to-face instruction, all you gotta do is call the school, talk to the principal. That way you can make those arrangements, and so that they're ready to receive your child. So the schools are open Monday to Friday, and we're actually, if your child is struggling, we're actually gonna have Saturday school after school. So some students are already on our buildings because we call them, we want them back, and others are we letting the parent decide. But if you're a parent that you know, okay, my child is struggling, I'd rather them have the face-to-face instruction. All you gotta do is call the school, and our buildings are open full week, Monday to Friday. The other thing, real quick, Ms. Flor, you're on mute, but before you unmute, I also have one more brief announcement. Parents will be receiving today at 6 an invitation to a public hearing on how to read the paper report. And so we'll have that session on Friday, February the 12th at 9. We'll be sending communication this evening. That's all I got, Flor.
Oh, yo pensé que se había ido el sonido.
No.
No.
Am I talking to myself? Is this thing working?
Sí.
Okay, good.
Do we have any questions for Dr. Segovia regarding the information he just provided for us regarding the full week of campus instruction? No? On my behalf, thank you, parents, for participating in our Progressing Together meeting. Next, I'm gonna have Dr. Mr. Chavez see if anyone has any questions for her.
So thank you, Ms. Flor Sanchez. This is your space, parents. This is where you can ask us any questions. If we don't know the answer, we'll let you know, but we promise to find out to the best of our abilities. But these meetings for Progressing Together are so that we can kind of share with you a topic that we think it's information that you need to know to help us progress with your child. And so, but it's also an opportunity for you to ask any questions, anything that's not necessarily on the agenda, that we can try to offer some more insight. So I'd like to make sure that the microphones are open. If you're not comfortable speaking on the mic, you can always type in your questions in the chat. But this is now your time. This is a space for you to all be able to ask us any questions. We can answer almost everything except for the lotto numbers. We don't have those yet. Do we have any parents with questions?
I don't have a question. I just have a comment, and that is that I am amazed by the information that you all provide. I mean, I can keep updated on your Twitter, and I like the communication over the phone and the text that you all send. I mean, if it hadn't been for that, I don't think a lot of us would be even aware of what's going on. So I really, really love that. I hope you all keep doing that because it's amazing how you guys give us the information.
Well, thank you so much. You know what? Look at all the smiles on our staff's face. You're making my heart smile, and I'm just like, we will keep our very best at doing that. Like I said, we don't have all the answers, but we try to find out as many resources so that we can keep all of our parents informed. We try to stay active on social media. We have our Facebook page. We have our Twitter. We also have our actual website, each one of our campuses. And I don't know, Horacio, can you take us to our website? I don't know if this is something that maybe you're aware of or not, but if you even have a question specifically, pick any school, Horacio, any school, and I want to show them the button that they can press, that they can speak directly. They can send an email to the principal with a question. So any one of our campus sites, depending on the school that your child attends, we can share with you. There's the email, an email portion. If you see right there where Sir Horacio is clicking.
Oh, yeah.
It gives us all our contact information. But that's another resource that we developed as a result of the situation that we're in. But it's going to stay there even after we get through this pandemic. Because if you click on there, it'll create the space for you to be able to send a message directly to our campus administration. And so the campus principal and the administration will receive your question, and they know that we'll get back to you with that information. So that's another way that we try to facilitate, but we will continue to do our part, in continuing that communication. And it also feels good. I think my colleagues will say to you the same. When we get complimented on something that we've actually tried to do is to really put information out there in the hands of parents in any way that we can. I don't know if Dr. Segovia, do you want to comment on that?
Thank our parents for noticing our efforts to communicate with the community and with our parents. I want to thank Horacio, Dr. Mr. Chavez, and that team, because I know that they're always working very hard at sending those communications in a timely manner so that everybody is informed. So good job, Dr. Mr. Chavez, Horacio, and your team. Thank you. I know Flor also helps us with that as well. So muchas gracias for that. Thank you.
And just so you're aware, Miss Flora has a direct access. She's a few feet away from me, but any questions that you have, any information that you think we're missing, you can always communicate directly with her. As our parent liaison for the district, she brings to light a lot of the things that we need to keep a pulse on. So we're very appreciative. We work as a team here, and we're thankful for the opportunity to be able to keep communicating information.
No, well, I'm thank you for keeping me updated, and I just love it that I get to be aware of what's going on in San Elizario, because I know there's a lot of other districts that I talk to parents and they're just not knowing what's going on. So keep it coming. I enjoy knowing everything.
Very good. Oh my gosh, you're making my heart smile. Thank you. And I'm going to share it with my colleagues right here back at them, because they're the ones that make this happen. And I will tell you that even in preparation for this meeting, regardless of whether we have 1 or 100 parents show up, we run it exactly with the information we want our parents to do. We do it in English, we do it in Spanish. And we're just thankful that we're able to collaborate. Just even preparing for this meeting, we have a pre-meeting preparation, and everybody contributes, and we just try to make it better. So thank you so much for noticing, and compliments to my colleagues. It's paying off, so we're thankful.
Oh, thank you. Kudos to you all.
Thank you.
We'll do the wave like Ms. Casillas just taught us, right? Thank you so much.
We have a question from Ms. Davis. Are the students already at, well, no, is there any changes to the way classes being done as far as face-to-face?
Well, at this time, and I think that's gonna, the comment on there also indicating that the students attend all week, but would still use the computer all day, and if this will be changing. So let me tell you right now, in terms of staffing, I know that Dr. Segovia and Sir Horacio Hernandez in technology are looking into, they've already, I guess it's either prepped or it's going to be going out soon. We're wanting to identify who of our parents want to continue to have their children online for next year. We're still waiting, in terms of information from TA, which we've reached out to. But right now, in terms of our staffing, that's kind of where we are right now. We're working with our teachers to try to identify ways for them to continue to use the technology. But because we have still such large numbers of students attending from home, not everybody is completely comfortable with sending the children in person to us. And so what we have right now is kind of two things happening. We have the children who are here present with us, and then we have the students who are continuing to learn online from home. And so with that being said, I know that we are working with our planning and instruction team to continue to help and guide our teachers. A lot of it is going to have to do with how we staff for next year. So as we prepare next year, and we have a pending conversation with our principals in terms of staffing and the guidance that we receive from TA. Dr. Segovia, anyone on your team would like to add to that?
Dr. Mesa Chavez, thank you. In addition to what you just explained, what we're doing here at P&I and instructional technology, we're learning as we go, right? This whole approach of teaching online and face-to-face at the same time has presented a challenge, but it's a challenge that we're ready to undertake. We're learning some new terminology such as high flex and hybrid and blended, which are terms that we didn't have in our vocabulary because we were teaching face-to-face. So we're preparing our teachers to be able to be even more effective in delivering instruction to students that are in both locations, whether it be a virtual location or they're face-to-face. So in the meantime, we're still relying on the Google Classroom and Google Meets to help us with that, but we're working diligently to ensure that we improve our instructional delivery, and we're in the middle of that. And like I said, there's a lot of learning on our end as well to prepare. So you'll eventually see the changes as we move forward. And we're excited about all those changes. I'm excited about the learning. I don't know if Horacio or Ms. Frescas, who are on the call, want to add anything to that.
Well, just to notify parents, I mean, we're looking at different approaches, different ways of assisting our teachers. Our main concern is assisting those teachers that, don't do double efforts and making it easy, with what we have, incorporating new technologies, using the current platforms. So we're looking at different ways. I mean, we just don't want to buy something just to buy it. I mean, we want them to use it and maximize the experience for the student. That way, we can give them and provide them the best education they can get, whether it's online or whether it's in person.
I'll just add that regardless of whatever we choose, parents, we just want you to know that our teachers are working very hard for the success of your children. They're working double time and triple time just to try to make their instruction as interactive as possible on the computer. It is very hard to think that you have to teach a child on the computer and a child in front of you, but the teachers are managing. But the forefront of every decision we make is the success of children. So just know that, we always have that in the forefront of all of our decisions, and our teachers are working hard for that. So thank you for your patience.
And Ms. Davis, I'm going to have Horacio, meanwhile I speak, I'm going to ask him to put the link to that article that came out on ATPE. It's true, we have a lot of connectivity issues, but I'm going to have Sir Horacio type in the chat an interview that I did with ATPE on some of the issues that we've started the discussion in terms of connectivity in our area. I had a meeting last week and had another meeting yesterday with Judge Samaniego along with other colleagues in the superintendency from Tornillo and San Elizario. If you'll put it in, put the actual link in the chat as well. But this is an interview I did with ATPE on connectivity issues, and San Elizario is one of the districts that was featured. So in my conversations with Judge Samaniego, we have actually brought the issue, and we're not letting it go. We want to make sure that, since the legislative session is kicking up, it's on, it's ready. There's legislators trying to figure out what their bills, whatever they're going to file. Well, one of them is that, in this article, I indicate that we have American children that, regardless of whether the district has given them a hotspot, regardless of whether they have the device, they still cannot connect. And so for us, this is, this is personal. We want all of our kids to not have these issues. And so we started our meeting at the local level, meeting with the county judge. I know that tomorrow I have a meeting with Representative Gonzalez as well as Congresswoman Escobar, because that's what we want. We want a long-term solution instead of just offering up. We've heard where in Hidalgo, they partnered with Hidalgo County, partnered with some of the districts, but they have temporary Wi-Fi situation that, could maybe last them 3 years. We're looking at not only trying to have that as a temporary, but long-term wise, what can we do in terms of adding fiber? So aside our actual jobs, our part-time communication job, we're also reaching out to legislative individuals, the El Paso delegation who has the power, because in this particular article, I do say we need to get the powers that be to help us with our connectivity issues. And so thank you for letting me get passionate about that. But that's one of the things that we're working on. And it's on our radar to try to address, because I know that Dr. Segovia, myself, and Sir Horacio Hernandez at the beginning of the year actually visited homes where it was, it might have been just one home visit, but there was anywhere from 5 to 8 kids, in homes sharing connectivity and having issues. Children here living in the United States, not able to connect. So we're excited about the work we're doing, and we're going to continue having as many meetings. Like I told the judge yesterday, tell me who you want me to connect with virtually, tell me where you want me to go, so we keep this on people's radar. So, just more to come on that, but I appreciate you bringing up the topic, but it is also something that our district is trying to address so that they pay attention to the small little rural areas. And it's in partnership with San Elizario, Tornillo, and Fabens, and we're all female superintendents, so we're not going to stop until we get something. We'll figure it out. Thank you for the compliments, Ms. Davis. Any other question or comment or anything that our staff can help you with? All right, I think off-topic question. Nothing is off-topic. This is open to you. This is your space. So anything, except for the lotto numbers. We don't have those, guys. Was there a question?
I go again. I'm on mute. I just want to thank the parents for the great comments that they just made. And it's, I guess we get happy to hear these comments, because it's just not what we do, is like we do it as a team. And it's great to hear positive comments of what we do and not what we don't do. And it's very, I just want to thank the parents for noticing, all the efforts that San Elizario I.S.D is doing for the families. Thank you, parents.
All right, and I did see the comment on the chat. Will Pledge Allegiance be done soon in the morning? My question is, why is it not being done? We will find out so that we can get the Pledge of Allegiance being said. So thank you for letting us know about that. We'll make sure we have a pending meeting with with our principals, and so we'll make sure we get that going. All right.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You talked about, and I know that a lot of people will think that it's too far along, but I'm also thinking for the future for the next school year. And you talked about that we might possibly start again virtually, or we might not. Now, if it comes down to where the state mandates that our students have to attend on face-to-face, what are going to be the options we have besides that? Because I'm one that, I'm hoping mine starts online too. I'm just worried about that, and I'm not sure what other options we're going to have.
Well, one of the things, and that's one of the surveys that Dr. Segovia and Sir Horacio, it comes with our planning. We're in the middle of our budget process, and we're trying to identify staffing for next year. So one of the things that we're actually trying to identify is to find out how many of our parents would like to remain online versus those parents who actually want to send the students in person. And here in the district, we're not going to judge one way or the other. What we do need to know is tell us what your plans are so that we can plan accordingly. Because here's the thing, I have a meeting every other week, bi-weekly with the commissioner, where we're able to type in questions. We have questions that go out to TA. We want to be able to plan the best way that we can within the means that we have in terms of enrollment and the monies received from the state in order to operate. And so for us, it is always to offer you that option. If we can keep you online because that is what you are most comfortable, that is the way you would like to proceed, then that is what we want to be able to do. However, if the choice is that you want to send your children to school, then that's what we want to be able to do. I know, and we want to be ready, and we want to reassure you all that we have taken appropriate precautionary measures in terms of safety and health with how we've set up our classrooms and the safety precautions we've taken there. Now, talking about what is it that Commissioner Morath and TEA will indicate, that's going to depend a lot of what happens in the legislative session. I just know that for San Elisario, what's helped us is to start asking questions earlier to see what people are thinking, because it helps our planning. And so that is where we are right now. When we can offer you an additional option, then that's what we want to do. So that's why we've begun to ask that question. What are your plans? Dr. Segovia, you want to contribute to that response?
Yes, Dr. Ms. Chavez, Horacio and I sent, actually Horacio is the one that sent it. He's the one that works the magic with the technology. We sent out a survey just to get that question answered. One of the questions, so be on the lookout for it. One of the questions is, would you be interested to stay in a remote situation, right? And if you are, what's the level of connectivity do you have? Or if you're not, then the other question is, I'm not interested and I want to do on campus. That's going to allow us to plan for a regular school year, I don't know when regular is going to be, but to plan for parents in terms of those options, depending on what the state wants. And then we're doing some other homework to see if we could join a network, a TA network that allows us to offer permanently virtual classes, but that's still in the very beginning stages. So any information that we're seeking, we ask that you do respond, and you ask your neighbors, especially if you get along with them, to respond as well. That kids in our district, and if the kids are not in our district, ask them to enroll in our district. Because we do need that information to plan.
I think that's one of the things that Dr. Segovia mentioned. Sometimes we do have parents who don't respond to our surveys, but it really does help us start forming opinions and ideas of what we should do. And so we'll take the compliments on the extensive communication we've had, but we also know that we have parents who sometimes don't want to hear too much. It's like, oh, another survey. Well, that is how we base our decisions, to kind of see how we're doing and how we can improve on things. But our choice is always to try to give you that additional choice to see what's best. Other than through the kids' email, is there any other way to complete survey? I know that we send the email to parents, or we can send it to student emails. What are the other formats, Horacio, that we have to be able to communicate it?
So yeah, we initially started with sending the emails, the survey links to parents' emails, but when we asked for particular information like student name, student ID, student grade, we were getting a lot of I guess misinformation. So with sending the email, the survey link to the student email, the system automatically recognizes the student name, first name, email address, grade level, student ID. So that's information that normally we don't ask from now on. And that will allow us to capture correct information and filter all that information and forward it accordingly. So that's why we went that way.
All right. Ms. Davis, you're invited to every meeting. You come to every meeting because you have, this is exactly what this meeting is supposed to be, is we'll cover the topic we have, but we also want to be able to cover any questions that you may have, and these have all been great questions. All right. Absolutely. And you know what? If you notice, Sir Horacio, we are recording. So even if you're not able to join us, these sessions are recorded and they are posted so that, if your schedule does not allow for that one time or so, you can always go back to look at them. So thank you so much. On behalf of San Elizario I.S.D. and all of our staff, we thank you. This is your space. This is where you can come ask us questions. Our Progressing Together meetings are made for you. I'd like to thank the team. Thanks so much, and everyone have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Hey, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.